Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today as we continue our discussion on the topic, the changing architecture of search marketing. I'm Suhain from the Amazon Ads team, and before I start, let me quickly thank the AdTech team for putting this platform together, where we get an opportunity to listen to senior marketing thought leaders as they talk about the past, present, and future of search marketing. In the last few years, digital has been at the forefront of driving innovation and efficiency for advertisers. Search has been the flag bearer for digital marketing, providing marketers an unparalleled opportunity to engage consumers based on their stated intent and track the performance of their marketing dollars at a click level. While search may not be talked about as much in recent times as compared to other digital counterparts, such as video, it remains a core constituent of digital marketing and continues to drive the highest return on spends for most marketers. From a consumer perspective, search remains an integral part of the research and purchase journey, playing a significant role across the entire journey. In fact, a study done by Amazon Ads showed that in mid to high consideration categories, such as consumer durables, watches, smartphones, an average buyer conducts 10 to 15 searches before making a purchase. About 60 to 70% of these searches on Amazon are generic in nature, showing the continued reliance on search as a strong influencer in the research journey of consumers. Over the recent period, consumer behavior around search has evolved, keeping in line with the overall changing consumer preferences, both in terms of how and where searches are done, as well as what is being searched. At the same time, innovations around search marketing have also enabled advertisers to go beyond the conventional search marketing tactics. Today, marketers can engage shoppers during their search journey using different formats such as video. Search has also become an early indicator for consumer trends and preferences, providing key inputs for marketing as well as product strategy. Today's discussion will focus on the evolution of search and the opportunities it opens up for marketers. We will discuss the key trends around search marketing and the role it has played for one of the most iconic brands in the Indian consumer durable space. To talk about this and more, let me welcome Sameer Agarwal and Varun Gupta. Varun is a full-time director on Kent's board and has been an instrumental pillar in making Kent a well-known household brand that it is today. A marketer at heart, Varun has spent nearly 2 decades overseeing multiple aspects of Kent's business, including production, operations, marketing, consumer service, supply chain, and IT. He has been the driving force behind some of the successful product expansions for Kent as well, including CAMI, marking the foray of Kent into automotive security, and CAM attendance, a touchless face attendance system. He's also actively associated with PhD Chamber of Commerce as a managing committee member. Sameer is the CEO and founder of Imarti Media, which is the leading immersive marketing agency. A product marketing and sales professional, Sameer has 2 decades of experience in building successful ventures, during which he has helped a number of biggest brands in the country grow. His extensive experience in the field of brand building and digital marketing, Sameer has been recognized over 70 times by international and national awards for successful driving digital campaigns for companies like Nokia, Nestle, and many others. A warm welcome to both of you.
Just waiting for the kind introduction.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Let me start with you, Varun. When you look at Kent over the last 15, 20 years that you have been working with it, can you just talk us through how did you start with the digital marketing journey for Kent? What were the first media channels that you used and your experience with same?
I think Kent has been a very early adopter of technology. And we had a website when people didn't think about having websites. I think it was late 1990s also. We started that website and having a digital presence when even the world was, in fact, the Indian consumers were not going on the web. But the idea was to always have a website where the discoverability of products was easy and, the easy navigation so that consumers could find what they're looking for. I think digital marketing per se, I think it was around 2011, 2010. I think that time e-commerce kind of started in India, the ball started rolling. And if I remember correctly, our first e-com platform back then was Home Shop 18. I think it was an NDTV venture, and they were the first ones who, in fact, listed water purifiers for e-commerce. I think Amazon, Flipkart didn't exist back then, at least in India, right? So that was our very first journey on e-commerce, and went very well. Then we realized that Kent also needs to have its own website from where consumers can transact. So we had our own e-commerce enabled website after that. And then, of course, Amazon and Flipkart came to the country, and then the rest is history. A lot of sales happen on the platforms nowadays. But I think from a marketing point of view, Google was obviously the very first platform where we went for marketing. And water purifiers as such is a very conceptual product, was a conceptual product back then, and it required a lot of one-to-one interaction with the consumer. So direct sales was very, very strong almost a decade ago, contributed to more than 60-65% of our overall sales. And to do that direct sales, we needed demonstrations, face-to-face demonstrations with the prospective customers. And we used to use a lot of Google AdWords to generate, drive people to our websites, and then do a lead generation and get an appointment with the customer after that. So there was a very high focus on lead generation through Google, through AdWords. Display kicked in maybe after that. Then Facebook started becoming very, very strong in India, and we started using lead generation on Facebook directly from the platform without driving into our websites. Facebook evolved over a period of time to optimize that, and that's where we invested a lot of money. YouTube also we tried, but I think YouTube for us never worked very well. But Google still works very well. Facebook still works, and those were the two initial platforms which we leveraged for marketing.
Thanks for that, Varun. Let me go a level deeper into this question, right? So we have also all of us have seen this journey of Kent from being a new brand to a leader in water purifier to now a household name across consumer durables. How has your media strategy evolved with these specific changes?
Yeah, I think what we've realized in the last 4 or 5 years, as you mentioned when you were introducing yourself, a lot of people end up researching on the e-commerce platforms now, and we also kind of feel that trend is shifting towards e-commerce platforms from Google or brand websites. I think consumers prefer I think they have a loyal website they go to, right? Either it's Amazon or it's the other one, which is in India, and they're loyal to those websites, and then they do the product research on these websites. So we also see that the search trend on Google has dipped, and that has been taken over more by Amazon and less by Flipkart, because Amazon is definitely very, very strong on search, and Flipkart has a lot to catch up on. So our focus has now shifted more on search on Amazon. I think the product is very strong. There are different ways where whether you're targeting brand customers who are searching for brands, or they're targeting for customers who are searching for generic products, or even targeting the competition, right? So we have all the options, and the customers who are on the e-commerce platforms are kind of low-hanging fruits because they're very close to their purchase decisions. They're not in that very high up in the funnel where they're thinking about buying something or not. They've kind of made up their mind, and they're looking maybe for a good deal or good reviews, social validation. I think the feature on Amazon for the bestsellers, I think that's a great feature where you can see the bestsellers. So that's a great social validation of which product to buy if you're confused, right? I use that many times. If I have to buy something, I just go and see the bestsellers. Like, if people have bought this, it must be good. So social validation works very well on Amazon. So yes, a lot of focus on search for Kent now, and now that we've expanded into a lot of kitchen appliances from water purifiers, we see good opportunity to target and build business using Amazon. We in fact have we have few products which are very e-commerce oriented only. We don't do that in offline channels because it's easier to target those customers on Amazon.
Interesting. Let me come to you, Samir. Now, primarily from a Kent's perspective, I'm going to double click on the search part. Can you just talk about how search plays what role does search play in the overall marketing strategy today for Kent? Now, let me come to you, Samir. From a Kent's perspective, primarily, what role does search play in the overall marketing strategy today?
So, for a brand like Kent, search plays a massive role because Kent has done two things very, very smartly. It built a concept and it educated users at large at a massive scale. With that, the large opportunity that we have when it comes to search is very interesting because typically we see if we go to a normal for any other brand, the category search is very large, or a generic search is very, very large. And a part of it, a certain small percentage of it comes from branded search. But for a brand like Kent, the branded search itself, the brand search itself, towers the category search. So that is the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to a brand like Kent. And search has always played a massive role in digital for Kent. It started with us using platforms like Google, where the information search starts, to generate leads, as Varunji was mentioning, to get lots of demos. And over the years, with the e-commerce platforms like Amazon, we realized that the search behavior on Google is very different when it comes to brand and category on Google versus Amazon. Also, because the platform like Amazon gives us that possibility of converting the lowest hanging fruits directly and pushing them down the funnel of converting sales. So that is why search plays a massive role, and the way search is evolving in a very competitive environment today on a platform like Amazon, where more tools are available. So, like you started with, the first thing that you guys launched was SP. And as it evolved into a sponsored brand and its next evolution with sponsored video, the tools that you have provided to an advertiser now lets us, do at least a full funnel search. And now with the retargeting being available for those search audiences, the loop, we have been able to close the loop. And that is why, as a company, search is playing a very important role on both sides. And today, I think majority part of our digital spends are diverted towards search.
Thanks, Samir, for that. Varun, coming to you next. Kent is usually seen an innovator when it comes to marketing. We all have seen Kent's innovative ads across channels. And you're usually one of the early adopters for various products, including search marketing products. Some of them Samir was talking about. Could you talk us about your journey with search advertising products in the recent times? What has worked for you? What hasn't?
So, restricting myself to Amazon, I think Amazon creates like really new properties, and we've been fortunate to be given early access to all the new properties. I remember when SBV sponsored brand videos were created. I think they were amazing, like, because right now, prior to that, people were only seeing listing of products, but seeing a small video along with the product details really helps the brand to first of all stand out. Because once you're going down the list, if you see a different thing which has popped in, your attention will always go on that, right? So SBV, I think, was a good innovation, and we've seen good metrics in terms of conversions. For Kent, we build the brand aura using mass advertising on TV and print. So we are always there in the consideration set. It's not that people who are going to buy water purifiers are not going to consider Kent at all. And once we're already there in the market consideration set, we optimize our spend on digital marketing. It's very ROI based. We always put cost of acquisition as a single metric on which we optimize most of the campaigns. And as you said, as Samir said, you've been innovating a lot. Retargeting people who have searched for certain search terms. Sometimes targeting the competition, because in water purifiers we don't worry that much about the competition, but in the kitchen appliances where we are not the leaders yet, right? There are certain subcategories in kitchen appliances where we are innovators, like egg boilers, like kettles, like hand blenders, where we do fairly well. We don't have to rely too much on targeting the competition. But if you talk about mixer grinders, you talk about vacuum cleaners, there we have to target the competition because we are not the leaders. So the search really helps there. And there are small innovations which has come from Amazon in terms of reaching out to the right customer, and that's why most of our budget today, I think on Amazon, I think 95% of our budget is on search.
Yeah.
We don't feel the need to go on the display. I think we only use the display for retargeting. Search meets our requirements for performance specific marketing, where we have to control the ROI, and does a fabulous job. We don't see this kind of great returns on the other platforms which are there in the market. And hats off to the Amazon team for creating such a wonderful product, which makes it easier for brands to target customers whom they want to target.
Thanks for those words, Varun. Very confidence building into what we are doing today at Amazon Ads. Samir, back to you. And maybe my last question for the session is, you also work with a wide number of brands beyond Kent. Some of them would be much younger. Some of them would be at a very different stage of their growth. Now, keeping that in mind, what are the key things that a marketer should keep in mind when they're investing in search? How can they get the maximum return for their spends? Any tips, recommendations that you want to give to our viewers?
Well, there are a couple of things that we have learned in last 2 or 3 years as we're spending more on search with a lot of our brands on Amazon. This is also happening now as the search footprint is increasing for Amazon, and you're going deep. We have realized 2 very interesting things that really help us in optimizing it. First of all, as any marketer, especially digital marketers, usually fall into a trap of when they research keyword volumes, whether especially on Amazon, because the accessibility is less, they don't think like consumers. Consumers are nowadays going deep when they search, and that means in categories and subcategories, when they search, they're using 3, 4, 5, 6 keywords, and string searches are happening. And I think it is important for marketers to think like consumers in terms of identifying, not just see an access sheet, but also see what kind of strings people use, because that is where I think there's a pot of gold, where the competition is typically less, because everybody else is searching for, targeting and bidding on certain set of keywords, but not going for strings. And when you go for strings, your conversion improves, and the competition is less. We have also realized in these strings, I would like to take a step forward. Things that we have realized and done optimized well is that combination of English and vernacular in strings, because human beings search in a different manner versus and think in a different manner versus how computers tend to put, and they will show you separate English strings, separate Hindi strings, but people think in different in combination of, for example, North thinks in English and their searches are also in English. Similarly, spelling mistakes are so common to us. These are some small tips and tricks that we see every day where the pot of gold lies, and I think helps. We think vernacular is growing very fast. The base is smaller, but the growth is big. So even if you say from 1,000 searches to 2,000 searches, in the overall scheme of things, that's small, but those 2,000 searches for a particular brand really moves the needle and bring the ACOS down. So that is thing I think brands should constantly try to utilize new formats, because early on the new formats, people don't take risk on the new formats. The brands which take risks for those new formats typically see early strength and are able to bring their list which they can retarget tomorrow. These things have worked really well for our clients, especially for Kent. And I think marketers have to start thinking, smartly in terms of when they're using Google. And also, one thing that we have used beautifully is a combination of search and display, which is not a full display like a format like SD, which itself has evolved in last 2 quarters. If you see in Amazon, right, it started with just competitor targeting to now, which works very beautifully in tandem with search. So these are the formats and things that I think you have to constantly be on top of your game, and have clients like Varun who gives you that freedom to do things and experiment, because they understand that if you experiment only then you can find something new and effort.
Just to add to that, I think when you were asking what should new entrants do, right? That there are 2 types of entrants. One who have unlimited budget, right? They will do anything for the eyeballs, for the impression share, and then there are ones who have a limited marketing budget. I think that for the ones who have a limited marketing budget, I think they don't need to run after the highly searched keywords, right? There are a lot of long tail keywords somewhere in the middle of the pyramid where there's not enough competition, and it's easier to get those with small incremental bids. But everybody makes the same mistakes. Let's go for the top
highest search,
and they end up paying a lot of money, which is good for a platform like Amazon, but for a brand or for a advertiser, I think they need to be more intelligent in terms of not running after the top search keyword. There is a lot of cream left even after the top search keywords. That's where they should. So we kind of fixed our campaigns when we started targeting the long tail keywords. They were like literally available for free, right? Nobody wants to use them. Because all the new brands, they will say, okay, let's search for water purifier. Let's target water purifier or RO water purifier. But there are like so many keywords at the bottom of the pyramid where nobody wants to bid, right? And the quantum of search is less, but still it's like, I would say, eyeballs at almost literally no cost, which can be taken up by a brand. So I think this is what smart marketers need to also focus on.
Because those small volumes add up quickly, actually, when they run over thousands of keywords.
Very interesting, Sameer and Varun. I think to me, it's somewhat surprising as well that despite being probably the oldest digital marketing channel, there's so much white space available for marketers today to still optimize, grow, and make better returns for their investments. Despite being obviously at probably the highest return on spend any which is they are getting on search marketing, right? So it's very interesting that even what is conventionally thought as probably a mature digital marketing channel has so many opportunities and is seeing so much changes from a consumer behavior front as well. And we've talked about a few of them, including how search footprint is growing, shifting from across channels, how the research online, purchase offline, or the online purchase phenomena is driving it, or how vernacular is changing how consumers search. So it's very interesting to look at the space, despite it being old and very matured. There's still so much to do for a marketer within search marketing. So thanks a lot for those valuable insights, Varun and Sameer. This has been really insightful. And as I said, I take a lot of learnings from this session, and I hope our audience as well does. So thanks again. And we'll close this session now. Have a great day.
It's our pleasure.